हमने लास्ट वीडियोस में कुछ क्यूबरनेटिस के बारे में, बेसिक्स ऑफ क्यूबरनेटिस और नोट्स के बारे में, मेन नोट्स और आर्किटेक्चर के बारे में अच्छे से देखा था. So like the Kubernetes is like the rescue part because like multiple container are orchestrating that container that should be used by maintaining the load balancing, management, and automatic deployments. Okay. So by using a like the Kubernetes is like a Docker compose for the multiple machines जो maintain करते हैं. So why we are using the Kubernetes जो हमने पहले देख चुके हैं. The desired architecture, number of running containers they are providing for us, and some of the provider specific setup or tools they are giving that part, and any cloud provider on remote machine is ये भी एक part है क्योंकि हम किसी पे depend नहीं रहते हैं वहाँ पर उस space में. Some of the basic YAML file that which is created for the communities for specific parts and that is showing the API versions, even kind of the services metadata that we are showing that part. The specification selector that out app and post is giving us the specific port that part, and type is load balance. Okay. So nextly, what Kubernetes is and is not, and it is not a cloud services provider. It is an open source product basically, and it is not and services by cloud services provider. It can be used by with any provider. You can just use for that. It's openly freely available. It is not restricted to any of the specific cloud services provider. It can be used with any provider, and it is not just a software you just run on your machine with the commands and tools that which is required for us, and it's not an alternative to Docker. हम कुछ भी मतलब ऐसे Docker कोई alternate नहीं बोल सकते. Like it was with the Docker part of that, as well as it's not a paid service. It's freely available. You can just download and install that part tools. Okay. So secondly, ये मैं आपको पूरा अच्छे से वैसे भी समझा चुका हूँ. इस पे मैंने separate वीडियो इसलिए बनाई थी क्योंकि आर्किटेक्चर बहुत important था. Okay. So I'm not going through that part. Okay. Okay. So the closer look at a worker nodes जो हम बात करने वाले थे actually worker nodes के बारे में. So, like the worker nodes is basically that the node which is handled by various of the pods which is available in a system. So, pod is basically एक particular node होता है जो एक particular work काम करता है worker provider. Okay, so like the worker node that which is included the kubelet docker and kube proxy. Kubelet और kube proxy पे ना जाके docker की बात करें तो docker is like आपको पता है कि एक separate container बनाता है that which is running fine or not. और और एक छोटा pod उसके अंदर जो included है volume container and container, like आपको volumes और container के बारे में पूरा अच्छे से पता होगा और it should be prerequisite अगर आप directly यहाँ पर jump करें तो. ओके. सो देन लाइक हम क्यूब प्रॉक्सी के बारे में बात करें तो बेसिकली ये मैनेज्ड नोड एंड पॉड नेटवर्क कम्युनिकेशन, एंड क्यूबलेट के बारे में बात करें कम्युनिकेशन बिटवीन मास्टर नोड और वर्कर नोड का काम आता है. सो लाइक एक हेडर है जो मेंटेन करता है दिस कम्युनिकेशन एंड ऑल. ओके. सो बेसिकली द वर्कर नोड इज मैनेज्ड बाय द मास्टर नोड जो मेन मास्टर नोड मैनेज करता है. Like the master node have a multiple worker node, the worker node have a multiple pods, and they having the host phase one or more application container their resources volumes of that part the particular pod, and the pod are created by managed by Kubernetes. Okay. So this is like how they are explaining this manner and all the architecture of that part. Okay. So the core Kubernetes and concept architecture जो मैंने मतलब inside of the data break करा, but abstracted way में हम कैसे देखते हैं इसको कि हमारा सबसे highest level is the master node that which is maintained by the all the servers like API server, scheduler, queue controller manager, and cloud controller manager. So like a cube controller manager जो मैंने आपको बताया था कि like which is manager watches the control node and worker node और communication के काम आता है हमारा जो basically cube controller manager के use case use होता है interactions में basically the API for kubelets to communicate that part, and this is how like how they are working for that. Uh, your work and Kubernetes work, and जो हम Kubernetes क्यों प्रिफर कर रहे हैं क्या यूज केस है एज कम्पेयर टू हम जो काम करते हैं लाइक ओके. So the create your object like a particular pods and manage them automatically. They are managed that part. Monitor pods and recreate them. Scale pods if they are paid, then recreate that part, and again that calling of that part. Kubernetes utilize the provide and cloud resources to apply your communication goals and accordingly. But what you need to do for the setup, आपको क्या requirement होगी? Create the cluster and the node instance, worker and master node, and set up a API server, kubelet, and other Kubernetes services, software or nodes, and create the other provider resources that might be needed, like load balancer. Okay. So some of the basic core core components that provided by the Kubernetes: the cluster node, master node, worker node, plots, container, and services. So basically, cluster is a set of node machine which are running at the continuous application or control other nodes, master node as well as. So आपको क्लस्टर पता ही चल गया होगा. सो नोड्स तो आपको पता ही है कि छोटा बहुत माइन्यूट पार्ट होता है जो और डेट विच इज मेंटेन बाय द मल्टीपल पार्ट्स ऑफ द सिस्टम. और पार्ट्स में इंक्लूड होते हैं हमारे सर्वर्स जो मल्टीपल रन करते हैं एट द सेम पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम. और वे जब भी अगर कोई लॉस हो जाता है या फिर लाइक इज समहाउ कि किसी एरर की वजह से वो ब्रेक हो जाता है तो वो इट ऑटोमेटिकली रन बाय मैनेज बाय द Kubernetes. And the master node, they have a multiple worker nodes with maintaining or the controlling all the parts. So master nodes is like a type of control panel or plane, and like